Hey guys, we're live. Pete Tansley here with, I was going to call this Whiteboard Wednesday. Like every week I go live and draw some strategy out on this little iPad, but it's not really a whitepad, a whiteboard. Maybe Wisdom Wednesday. I do feel that sounds a little bit too douchey, so I'm not going to call it Wisdom Wednesday like I'm up on my soapbox, proclaiming wisdom on you all. So if you can think of a better name, I'm going to stick with Whiteboard Wednesday, where I map out a key strategy to grow your business every single week. Before I do that, I definitely think I should put on this hat that my daughter gave me as we put up the tree this morning. I think it's very appropriate. So let's kick off. If you ever have any questions, you can email me or my team or comment on one of these videos, and I will be sure to cover it on my non-Wednesday wisdom as we go through it. But what I want to talk about today is three numbers to track to grow your business and to keep the focus on growing your business through every week of every month. So let's take a look at what they are. I'm going to do this fancy thing where I switch over. And the first thing I want to do, let's get my head out of the way because it's quite big, is three numbers to track around growth. Around people say, I want more clients or I want more leads. Because what they really want is more income and more clients. And there's a few numbers to track around that. So every month, you should have a really basic way of tracking these numbers, right? It's super simple. So if this is the month of December, as an example, you've got all the days listed down here. You got every single day listed down here, all the way down. And then set, show, and close, it relates to your sales activity for the week. Because here's a key principle, is that your cash flow follows your calendar. Your cash flow follows your calendar, which makes sense, right? So if your calendar sucks, if it's got zero appointments and new leads and new inquiries coming down, well, your cash flow is probably not going to grow. It might stay the same, and if it's running great, that's fantastic. But if your goal, like most fitness business owners I speak to, if your goal is to grow cash flow, then it's going to follow your calendar. So let's say today you have you have 3 consults booked to come and see you today. 3 of them show and 3 of them close. Well, that's a pretty darn good day, right? 100% show up rate and 100% conversion. Most likely, though, you'll have something more like this. You book 3, 2 turn up, and 1 of them close. Okay? And again, not bad. If you're signing into high-ticket, high-priced programs, which is if you're delivering value, then you should be charging high price because it's valuable to the world, then that's still a good day. If your average sale price is $1,000, a $1,000 program or a $2,000 program, that's still a fantastic day. But throughout the month, you're going to have some Saturdays or Sundays or days you don't sell. But throughout the month, you're going to have some numbers that look, something like this. And you're tracking these numbers. So once we got some data to go on, here, we can look at some things. So let's say this day, for example, you have 3 that are set and 2 turn up. Now, they're pretty good show-up rates. But let's say it was 5 set and 0 turn up. Then we know we have a problem with either attracting quality leads, but probably more importantly is a phone script that sorts the wheat from the chaff. Like ask a few qualifying questions, and if they're not that committed, or if they've got no interest in spending money on their health, it's probably not much point having a consult with them. So that's one part of that number. The other part is if we might not have a good reminder system. If we set a consult for Monday, for example, and they've had a busy weekend, their son's had their birthday, they've had a work party, it's going to be pretty unreliable to leave the ball in their court. So I would be setting an automatic reminder to go to them the morning of, and even a few hours before via an SMS or something. So that's if the set numbers are good but the show numbers suck, right? That's the first thing to look at. The second thing to look at is the show number to the close number. So if we perform 10 consults this week and we're closing, anywhere less than 5, then our sales process needs some sharpening. Perhaps it's our offer that sucks. Perhaps it's your confidence and your certainty in your speech when you deliver the trial session or the consult, whatever the appointment is. Perhaps, you're just off your game that day or that week. And all of those things can be fixed. Now, if you're getting 10 a week set, 10 show up and 10 close, well, there's not much room for improvement. Maybe you could raise your prices a little bit if you're closing 10 from 10. Ideally, we want to be closing, 8 or 9 out of 10 every people we sit down with, or if you're on the phone, every people you present your prices to, ideally. When you get closer to 10, you up the prices, close rate might drop a little bit, and then you repeat the process again. Does that make sense? So those 3 numbers are key. Cash flow follows calendar. This is kombucha, by the way. I put it in a fancy whiskey glass, but it's actually non-alcoholic. So they're the first 3 numbers to track. You don't need any fancy, expensive software for this. I've seen businesses doing close to $1 million a year using a very, very basic whiteboard in their office, or just an Excel spreadsheet. The second thing we want to track is the average sale amount. So if somebody's spending, $100 with you and your minimum length of time is 6 months, it's a $2,600 contract. Would you agree? And if you sold 10 of them for 6 months, we're going to find an average of what they are. Now, why is this important? A, you can know how much to spend on your marketing to acquire a new customer. That's a really, really important thing. But that's quite long-term. A lot of people think that's a long-term number. Why I like to know what this average sale amount is let's say you have, let's say your average is $3,000. You're selling some high-priced personal training for, 10 weeks, 15 weeks, maybe even 12-month programs, which is not that hard to do. And your average sale amount is a $3,000 sale. Let's say you're closing 1 out of every 3. Okay, so your sales could do some work, but you're closing 1 out of 3. So you have 2 no's and then a yes. If you're tracking these numbers, what you can work out is that every no, you earn $1,000, right? If you know by stats, by looking and tracking at your numbers, that you get a no, and a yes, a no, and a yes. The potential that can happen here, the danger is you get really down and out. After 2 no's, you think, maybe I'm not that good. Maybe the low-cost gym down the road is the way to go. Maybe my model sucks. Maybe my 10 years of experience doesn't even matter. As opposed to, if we know that the average sale is $3,000, if we got 6 no's, we're still technically earning $500 per no, right? Because we know the next one might, the next one might, the next one might. So in addition to tracking the daily stats, how many set, how many show, how many close, I also like to track the average sale amount, so we know that when we get a no, we're just one person closer to a yes, and we're closer to changing one more life, and we can keep, it's not even close to a failure, but some people see consecutive no's as a failure. We can keep our spirits high if we get a couple of consecutive no's. And no matter how good you are, that might happen to you, but we have to just think, so what, next? And if we know the average sale amount, that's much easier, right? Wouldn't you agree? If you think, hey, I'm getting $1,000 for this no, because the next one is going to be a sale based on my last 30 days, 90 days, or 300 days. So that's my main tip for today. Track your numbers. Numbers don't lie. And cash flow follows your calendar. If your next 2 weeks are empty and you've got no appointments, we should chat and I can help you filling up your calendar. But if you get one thing out of this is to track your numbers, be completely honest with yourself, because the numbers will show where you're good, where you're not so good, and where you can improve. Okay? I hope this helps on my whiteboard or my pretend whiteboard Wednesday. I'll be back next week. If you have any questions on this, let me know via DM or comment under this video, and I'll be sure to answer it next time. This is Pete signing out. Talk soon.